Here's a Yami Noob hot take right out of the old brain panini press for you. Motorcycles are popular. I know, right? I don't think anyone else has arrived at that same thought before. You heard it here first. Two-wheel death machines equals pretty neat and lots of people like them. But if you've been around a motorcycle dealership, someone who works in a dealership, or someone who has wanted to buy a motorcycle in the last 2 years, you've probably heard them talk about how the motorcycle market is on fire right now, and not in the California way, more like the Red Hot Chili Peppers way circa 2006. They're flying off the shelves, and some bikes are in such high demand that you have to wait months for you to get your grubby little mitts on them. 10 or 700s. Looking at you. Now, I could sit here and pontificate on why, bust out that old economics degree, dust that old thing off, and point out that motorcycles are cheaper forms of transportation than cars, and income hasn't risen to match the cost of living, making it so that people can't afford cars. Or I could mention the fact that here in the States, COVID stimulus checks combined with post-lockdown wanderlust cause people to want to get out on two wheels and see the world and buy little pit bikes and all that kind of stuff. However, I'm not going to do that, as much fun as it would be. Instead, today, I'm going to break down some of the most popular motorcycles in the United States. Why only America? I hear the international audience cry out, because America. That's why. Honestly, it's just a lot more research, and this is supposed to be a 10-minute meme salad filled with dick jokes, so you'll have America, and you'll like it. Now, instead of diving in, I wanted to go over some general sales data broken down by manufacturers, since I think it reveals some interesting trends. So, according to Statistica.com, which is a number nerd's wet dream, the number of registered motorcycles has grown by 75% in the years since 1997 and 2006, up to 6.7 million from 3.8 million. The top 5 states where bikes are registered in order from most to least is California at 813,000, Florida at 558,000, Texas at 445,000, Ohio at 405,000. Really? Ohio? Seriously? And finally, Pennsylvania at 396,000. There are a bunch more in the top 10, with the bulk landing in the Midwest, which is weird to me given how much ice they need to manscape off their testicles from September to May. But how about major brands? What is the best-selling brand in America? Drum roll, please. It's Harley Davidson. Yeah, what a shock. Harley is over 1/3 of the market share in America, selling 35% of motorcycles on the road as of 2014. Now, it is true that the domination has lessened somewhat in the intervening years, but they're still the number one selling brand in America since forever. Yeah, I know. I don't really get it either. Next down the list is Honda, who sells the most bikes worldwide but commands only 15% market share in the US. Then Yamaha in third with 13%, Kawasaki in fourth with 9%, Polaris in 5th, they're the Indian Can-Am and Slingshot people, and Suzuki down in 6th place also with 5%. But Yami, that's only 82%. Who's got the other 18%? It's listed as other manufacturers, so that's your Royal Enfields, Benellis, Amazon crap bikes, and etc. It's worth pointing out that in recent years, the market share of Chinese brands has been growing slowly but steadily. The likelihood that one of them approaches that 5% margin is unlikely given how many brands are crammed into other, but who knows? Given a few years, you might see them knock off some of the Japanese brands, kind of like Suzuki, honestly. But enough numbers. What are the best-selling motorcycles? Okay, I'll stop burying the lead. The number 7 best-selling bike in the United States is the Canamriker. Wait, what? That's not a motorcycle, right? Hold on, let me do a Google. Nope, it says it right there. It's a motorcycle. I guess it's for people who are afraid of leaning or really like to hit potholes. Now, I don't think we've ever talked about the Riker before, so let me get some specs so we can understand this three-wheeled homunculus better. So apparently it's packing a 900cc 3-cylinder engine, making only 82 horsepower and 58 foot-pounds of torque, while weighing in at 616 pounds dry. I have no idea what the wet weight might look like on this car-a-majig, but if I had to guess, fully loaded it's pushing close to 700 pounds with the battery and all the fluids. That's so much weight moved by so little horsepower. It's like if Harley wanted to make a snowmobile for the street. It has a shaft drive of a car out back and then 2 spare tires for the front wheels. In theory, you're going to get a lot more grip out of one of these than on any motorcycle, but where's the fun if you can't drag a knee? Also, this thing has no features. I mean, they're quoting the headlights as a feature on the website. Such feature, much impressed, wow. I guess they're cheap at only $8,999 new for the base model, which isn't too bad, but man, the fact that this outsold actual good motorcycles makes me sad. Number 6 is a nice palate cleanser and serves to restore my faith in humanity. It's the Kawasaki ZX6R. Hell yeah, baby! I'm so happy to see a super sport on the list because it means that people are still interested in going fast and looking cool while they do it. Sure, you have hyper nakeds that are faster, but they're all kind of ugly. The ZX6 is the ninja all the way. We're getting ready to select a winner for our ZX6R in the next few days. The sweepstakes has since wrapped up, and after having it in the shop for a few months, I am confident in saying that this bike is the best super sport for the street. It's a dumb statement, I know, but there's a lot of 600 squids out there trying to wring power out of a 600 from Honda and crying all the way home. In case you need a refresher, the ZX6R is powered by a 636cc inline 4 doing 127 horsepower and 52 foot-pounds of torque, which is a healthy amount of power for a 600. It's got more mid-range punch than the other bikes in the category, more tech, and it's cheaper. No wonder it's selling like hotcakes. The modern bike has now an up and down quick shifter, which is pretty much the only feature that was missing to make it perfect, which I suppose that means it's perfect now. Moving up the charts, we have the Yamaha R3. I will take my paycheck now, Yamaha. Yep, this one is yours truly, all me. I have made this bike into one of the best-selling bikes in the world, let alone the United States. It's not just because Yamaha made one of the coolest looking little 321cc bikes with 41 horsepower and 21 foot-pounds of torque with a low weight and cheap price. Nah, that has nothing to do with it. It's all because I picked one up in 2015 and made a whole bunch of videos about it. Seriously, Yamaha, I'm on Venmo, I'm on PayPal, heck, I'll even take bricks of cash. In all seriousness, the R3 has been on top of so many beginner bike videos across the internet that it's no surprise to see this bike topping the sales charts. It's also easy to get into thanks to its cheap $5,299 price tag. Even if you have a credit score lower tthan the IQ of an average jigsaw bro, you're going to be able to get financing for this motorcycle. If you're a smooth-brained Suzuki simpleton, you can find these used for around $3,000 all day long with a few mods and low miles. Also, with the new generation R bike styling, it is the coolest looking beginner bike in my humble opinion, not that I'm biased or anything. From one phenomenal beginner bike to another, number 4 goes to the Husqvarna Swordpill in 401. Hey KTM, you know all that stuff I just told Yamaha? Yeah, you're going to be hearing from our collections agency pretty soon. I mean, we just released a video where we tested this Fart again to see if it's still the GOAT beginner bike, and you know what? It's still pretty dang good. It's one of, if not the most feature-rich motorcycles for around $5,000 you are ever gonna find. Fully adjustable suspension, supermoto mode, quick shifter, flashy styling, solid scrambler rubber, and chill ergos. What more could you want? To be honest, I'm a bit bummed that I didn't have the chance to start out on this bike instead of the R3, though I would have probably taken that R3 anyways because I was a simpler human at that point and I just wanted a sport bike. I didn't see the potential of off-road riding, otherwise I probably would have hopped on this, or in reality a dual sport because this Fart wasn't out yet, but that's besides the point. Clearly people have gotten the message and this Fart isn't just some weird neo-retro-tron scrambler, but a real heavyweight in the industry. Number 3 goes to the hipsters out there, the Triumph Speed Twin. Of course it was going to be a Bonneville. You gotta give hipsters one thing, despite all their other qualities, hipsters are the most likely to spend an outrageous amount of money cash on cred. I mean, who else do you know is willing to go to some weird musty coffee shop and spend $40 on a drink when there's a Starbucks right down the street? Being one cold brew away from financial destitution is the best way to live life, and it's the second best is to get a Bonnie. Of course, it's the Speed Twin because it's the big boy version of the Street Twin with the 1200cc parallel twin, putting down more power because you need bigger numbers. Even flannel-wearing hipsters have daddy issues. That being said, the Speed Twin is a really great package, solid build quality, Brembos, Triumph's velvety smooth throttle feel, and proper handling. It's really hard to go wrong with this bike, and it's part of the reason why it is so high up on the list. In fact, we may be thinking about getting one for a giveaway. Stay tuned. Something I did not expect to see so high up on the list was the Honda CB300R. I know there was going to be Honda near the top, but I was thinking it would be the Grom or the Monkey or any of the other 1,000 permutations of their little air-cooled 125, not some baby sub-300cc thumper. The pluses for the CB300R is that it looks like a smaller version of the 650R, which looks like a smaller version of the 1000R. So you have that design language, which helps. Other than that, I'm not really seeing it. It's only making 30 horsepower and 20 foot-pounds of torque, and yes, that will hit a little sooner than the R3 because it's a single, but it's not going to be as potent. If I had to take a guess, it's probably solely down to the fact that the bike is crazy cheap, and Hondas are typically known for being the priciest of the big four. Being able to buy into Big Red for under $5,000 is solid enough carrot, I suppose. And you know that the bike is going to be able to be Honda reliable, so there's that too. I'm trying to come up with other good stuff to say, but I'm drawing a bit of a blank here. I'm bemused about this bike's popularity. Likewise, with number 1, it is the Harley Davidson Sportster Iron 1200. Look, I'm not surprised to see this in the top 3 or in the number 1 slot. Harleys are expensive, and this is the cheapest way to buy into the brand without your dad disowning you for riding a girl's bike. The only problem is that Harleys have been making this bike the same way since the first 4-legged fish creatures crawled out of the primordial ooze and needed a way to get around, and they were waiting for the evolution to do its thing. From the factory, I would argue that the Sportster is a bad value prop. It's expensive, it's underpowered, and it comes with all the baggage that can be associated with the bar and shield. But then you ride it and realize that it's a completely unique motorcycle that's not for everyone, but the quintessential American motorcycling experience. And for better or worse, HD is very much interwoven into the brand of America, and that alone is enough to move units apparently. I guess time will tell if the new generation of Sportsters will find themselves so high up on the charts when the 1200 eventually goes the way of the Dodo. Fact. Green Eggs and Ham was banned in China from 1965 to 1991 for its portrayal of early Marxism. Goodbye. Well, look at you. You've made it to the end of another Yami Noob video. You should consider yourself pretty lucky because I have curated this one right over here for you to continue watching. It's probably just as good as the one you just saw. Unless you hated the one you just saw. I don't know, maybe leave me a comment down below about how much you hated it as well too. Or just keep watching this one. Make sure you keep watching Yami Noob. Don't forget to keep watching Yami Noob. That's the most important thing. Keep watching Yami Noob.